except for one no-hitter. Bo Belinsky mostly stunk. John Rocket.
It is Friday, and you know what that means. We are in a new episode of the Captain and Madden Show, brought to you here in the beginning of April. First Friday in April. And welcome aboard. I am Mike Madden, one of the hosts of the show. My other co-host is the titular captain, Michael Corby. Captain, are you here?
Hello.
Are you with me?
Hello, Mike Madden. How are you today?
Doing well. I'm doing well.
Happy Friday, as they like to say around the office.
Yeah, if they say it around the office more, somebody's going to have to make sure the windows are all closed.
It's not Friday. It's Friday.
That's even worse. Future topic, by the way. Dumb things said around offices. Friday is no good for me. But anyway, it is also the second week of the baseball season, and we promised last week the loyal listeners we were going to do a baseball episode. So we're going to be we're covering some interesting baseball topics, and we figured, well, why not kind of fill our lineup out? We need a good three-hitter in this one. So coming and joining us, the first guest on the Captain and Madden Show, our good friend, close personal longtime friend, George Henn is joining us. George, welcome to the Captain and Madden Show.
Good to be with you, fellas. I've brought my turbo bat, so hopefully we'll do some damage here.
This is great.
That's what she said.
We're right on the precipice of a new. Baseball only gets scandals like every few years, and this is our new scandal that we're going to all fret about is turbo bats. So, what better time than the beginning of the season for us to be chatting about baseball and talking about players of the past, but also the weapons that they choose in today's game. So, now, George, you are a sports aficionado, baseball aficionado. You've seen a lot of guys that have, come through the ranks of Major League Baseball, and I think this is why it's a kind of a perfect time to do this, because the season's so fresh, but also because all three of us have chosen interesting topics to fill our lineups out with, and we appreciate you throwing your hat in the ring, so to speak, with us this week.
Hey, my pleasure. But that build-up just was a nice way of saying that I've been around a long time. It sounded like to me.
It's the best about having George on the show. I don't know if you guys have always maybe had a chance to do, somebody asked you to lift something. When you have an odd number of guys lifting something,
yes,
there's always one guy that can fake lift. If it's two guys or four guys or six, you can't fake that. But when I volunteer, I'm going to fake lift.
You're going to fake. You're going to mail it in today.
I'm just going to lean back and I'm going to be mesmerized by the baseball knowledge of both you and George.
Wow.
I'll be catching up. I'll be catching up on my White Lotus while you guys talk baseball.
I don't know about that.
I think
the
disallow
opposite.
that.
I think that you're going to probably point out some people I maybe should have included, or I don't think you're going to say like, "Wow, I knocked it out of the park here." You'll have some good stuff that I probably forgot, but we'll get to that.
I'm going to finish my my letter to Christina Applegate that I've been writing since our last episode.
The last episode, the crushes were kind of a highlight and also a source of embarrassment.
Is there anybody on this podcast that you like? Check this box.
Well, thank you. Before we get going, thank you for not inviting me on last week. So
The less guys confessing childhood crushes, the better, I think. But yeah, there was a lot of feedback from last week's episode. I was kind of hoping that it was like a lost episode and it didn't upload to save a little bit of egg on the face and embarrassment. But there were a few people that reached out privately and publicly.
I'm not going to lie, Mike. There's a lot of people concerned about you.
Well, come on. I did more research and I had more notes for that episode than even this one, which is shocking. But listen, it was fun to do. We got it out of the way. We got an awkward topic out of the way. Now we can just relax and talk about national pastime. We had a beautiful intro song from the Baseball Project, which is a quote unquote supergroup that releases albums every few years and plays a lot of baseball stadiums and concerts. And all of their music is all their music's available on Spotify, but in particular, they've got some great records which explore the history and the colorful characters of baseball. And speaking of colorful characters, here's the gist of our lineup. Gist of our topic today is unique baseball lineups. I'm going to start off, if that's okay with you guys.
Shouldn't we do the thing where everybody with the hand on the bat and whoever's on the top?
On the
like,
top. Well,
that's how you determine the batting order?
we're not in the same room.
Oh, okay.
And of course, again, we don't have a torpedo bat. We have them on layaway, but we don't have a torpedo bat to reach up onto. But
Right. What did I call it? A turbo bat before?
turbo
Sorry,
is
torpedo
it?
bat.
It's a
yeah.
torpedo bat. Yeah,
I don't
turbo
know.
bat.
Whatever.
That'll
Again,
be the very.
my knowledge is already being called out.
Yeah,
You know.
send you back to the minors.
Good luck here.
But I will start off with my lineup, and my category is, and I've created a lineup of ball players. I'm going with the fat athletes, the fat baseball players. Every great discussion of world-class athletes should at some point involve, hey, who's the fattest to ever do this? Or who looked out of shape at the end of their career? So I have gone around the horn and selected who I think are the most memorable corpulent fellows in Major League Baseball.
Did you rank them by pound?
Some I will have notes about some of their pounds,
Okay.
but so as I was doing my research, I realized there are a lot of fat first basemen. There are a lot of fat relief pitchers. If you look up articles or you just start to Google, hey, I remember that guy and I remember he was kind of fat. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a first baseman / DH, or they're going to be somebody that was in the bullpen at some point in their career. So there might be a little bit of kind of crossover. I might be putting somebody in a position that they're not supposed to be in just to squeeze them. Another fat joke, just to squeeze them into this lineup. So starting off first baseman, Prince Fielder, Milwaukee Brewer first baseman, 5'11", 275 pounds at his heaviest. He was also known as a fat vegetarian because I guess at some point he did announce his vegetarian diet. And his father was fat, but his father didn't make my list. Cecil Fielder. He was, again, just sort of like that short, compact body, just bashing home runs. Fun player to watch, but always very worried when he was rounding third base if he was going to keel over at any point. So Prince Fielder, starting off my lineup at first base.
Kind of like the family business, being
Yeah.
heavy and first base.
Yes.
So now, are you listing guys just favorites of yours who fit this body type, or is performance involved? Because I mean, didn't Prince Fielder and his dad almost have the same career stats? Am I right? It's
Yes,
the same number
yeah,
of home runs, something like that.
If you look at it, I think Prince.
Maybe it was home runs. They might have finished even or just about dead even, something like that. They were. It was
Prince
anyway, but they're both really good.
he played
And-
for like 9 seasons, I think. And I think it was more or less like, hey, we're worried about your health, and you should step away. But no,
Yeah, he
I
had
mean,
some problems with his health there at the end. Yeah, he retired pretty young, I think.
yeah, definitely. And that's that's the
Despite being
interesting
a
thing.
vegetarian,
If he
that didn't.
if he took care of himself a little bit better, he might have squeaked out a couple more years, especially with the DH rule in Major League Baseball coming to the
Right.
National League.
Good point.
I'm fine with you picking Prince over Cecil, since I disqualify Cecil since he went and played in Japan.
Okay.
That's
It's mostly
not fair.
you say it's mostly rice fat.
There's a lot of karaoke and drinking over in Japan. you're easily the poundage on going to Japan for like a year or two.
Yes, that's true. So second base, second base was difficult for me. Originally, I was going to go with Dan Ugla because I do remember an article where Dan Ugla was called out for being fat and then got himself in tremendous shape for the last season of his career. So I can't dunk on him too much, but I can definitely dunk on Ronnie Belliard, who played for the Cleveland Indians as well as the Twins in the late 90s, 2000s. Another guy, short, compact, 210 pounds, but because he was maybe about 5'8", 5'9", it was a lot of bulk that you could see, especially in his later playing career. You could see he put on a lot of mass, and certainly would qualify for a baseball lineup. And usually, players aren't necessarily thicker, as the kids say. They're not thicker when they're playing the middle infield because it does take a lot of athleticism. Ronnie Belliard did kind of lug that backyard around a lot in his days, so he makes my lineup.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him, but he doesn't. And Dan Ugla too, but I don't remember. I never thought of him as fat.
Yeah. I did. I kind of I remember, and I think it was some article that came out that he got called out when he was with when he was the Marlins. I guess he was with the Marlins towards the end of his career, or maybe when he went to Atlanta. They kind of gave him some grief over his weight, but then, like I said, in hindsight, he got into tremendous shape just before his playing career was over. So can't fault him too much. Ronnie Belliard also had a pretty great afro at some point, very round, not Oscar Gamble afro, but like a modern day afro. So he gets bonus points for not only just a round body, but a round head of hair on him.
So what you're saying is he kind of looked like Ice Cube in
Friday.
Yeah.
You may be right. Moving on to shortstop, Juan Uribe is, by all means, he's the leader for this one. Again, another position where you should be a little bit more athletic. And he played third base mostly, but when he did play shortstop, it just looked like they left a tire out there, with a glove taped to the front. Very chubby. I believe another one that had some interesting facial hair, Juan Uribe. I couldn't catch a weight on him because he was one that, when he started his career, he was pretty thin, and then just ballooned. And I know when he had a little stint with the Mets, not at the end of his career, but towards the end before he went to L.A. and made a bunch of playoffs. But when he did get dealt to the Mets in 2015 or 2016, it was sort of like he was a backup shortstop and third baseman, but it was he was looking pretty chubby, and he did not stop being chubby when he played for the Dodgers as well. So Juan Uribe making the vaunted fathlete shortstop position.
I'm not going to lie. For a moment, I was sitting there thinking of Jose Uribe. And I was like, I don't remember Jose Uribe being fat with the Giants.
Yeah.
A lot of Uribes.
Well, this is a name that everybody's going to remember. Third baseman. He should be number one on everybody's list of fat athletes. Pablo Sandoval, a.k.a. Kung Fu Panda. 5'10", 268 pounds at his heaviest. Was a phenomenon and a local legend in San Francisco. He was paired up with Tim Lincecum, the Freak, who was about 6'2" or 6'3", and very rail thin. Kind of looked like Mitch from Dazed and Confused.
Mitchy.
When the Freak, as they called him, Lincecum, and Pablo Sandoval would stand next to each other, they looked like the number 10. But yeah, very round. Some would say kind of lazy as well. But everywhere he went, the fans loved him. Spent time in not only San Francisco, but Boston and Atlanta Braves.
I forgot he was well turned there, but no, good call. He wasn't, for some reason, he wasn't coming to mind. I thought you were going to hit us with Ron Say or something. But,
well, Ron Say, the Penguin Ron Say.
But The Penguin. I mean, yeah, I was thinking the nickname. Of course, the Panda is another great one, but
He just
no,
I was kind of thinking Charlie Hayes. He was pretty.
Charlie Hayes was fat. Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of considerations.
well, yeah, third base is a good position for that.
But getting back to Ron Say, like maybe if I make a baseball lineup next season when we do this again, just players with fat asses. Ron Say would definitely get on there. He had a real dumper on him. So
You might have to get Karen Payton for that episode. 'Cause I'm going to bow out of that one.
moving right along, this could be a controversial pick, but I do remember him gaining some weight in the one of my first outfielders. I'm going to go with Andrew Jones.
Oh,
Andrew Jones tipping the scales at 225 pounds, 6'1". I think the press maybe were the reasons that he got labeled as beefy towards the end of his career.
wow, I don't remember that. How could you be
Maybe he was
an
husky.
overweight center field? He was a center fielder.
That's
You
true,
can't-
yeah.
you can't really have extra pounds out there.
That's a good point. And I think maybe when he was like towards the end of that career, when he wasn't playing every day, and he was platooning or he was coming off the bench, maybe DHing, whatever that may be. Maybe there was a little bit more girth to him at that point. But yeah, when I was doing the research, there was a lot of articles about Andrew Jones being portly, but also like every article that you read that talked about his weight also talked about that he still had a cannon for an arm, even like at the end of his career. Like that dude was, and he should be in consideration for the Hall of Fame, not just the Fat Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Fame in general. So yeah, I have him on there. Outfield was another blind spot. Like you got a lot of guys in the outfield that can't necessarily be chubs. But Andrew Jones I have to get a guy for each position. So the onus is on him. Moving along, the first Hall of Famer, the first true Hall of Famer on the list is Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, he's got to be a first ballot here.
Yeah,
This one.
and he's
And believe it or not, he played center field for the Twins for the majority of his career.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
He was a chubby dude who apparently pulled off center field.
he pulled it off well. He did have speed. He did have he had some leaping ability. So he would also qualify as a short king. But he was also the fattest man to ever have 2,500 hits. So
Right.
all the respect in the world, and rest in peace in your tiny little coffin to Kirby Puckett. A legend in the game, and also a legend at the buffet.
It might not have been a long coffin, but it definitely was maybe a wide coffin.
It could have been, yeah. It could have been like a Porky coffin. Well, maybe he was buried in like just a cube.
I think of him as more like just. It's going to sound silly, like Kirby Puckett and maybe some others we're talking about, were maybe round but not really like heavy. Does that make any sense? Because from the minute he came up, he was, like you said, captain center fielder, and
Yeah.
he wasn't a liability out there, and he could run. What was the weight? Is there a stat there? Part of that stat we don't know about.
I think
How heavy was he when he got all those hits?
so. His
Peak weight.
I think his height was about 5'10", and I think he was like right around little over 200 pounds, maybe,
Oh, okay.
or right around the 200 mark. So
I would've
yes,
guessed more.
if you're looking at that sight unseen, you're like, well, no, it's more healthy than it is fat. But again, when you look at the body, you're kind of like, all right, well, you can see where he would qualify as a fathlete. And again, no disparaging because he's no longer with us, but
Nah.
you gotta fill a lineup card out, no matter what the weight capacity is.
With all due respect, rest in peace. Congratulations, you made Mike Madden's fat team.
Right. What a post life epitaph that is.
We're gonna have to go to Cooperstown with a chisel and etch that in for him. Post
Post-mortem.
postmortem.
Moving along, this guy made 300 look good. Former Washington National Dimitri Young.
Oh yeah.
He got up to 300 pounds during his career. One of the fattest. And again, when you look at pictures of some of these guys, if you do want to like look for reference, oftentimes Dimitri Young's shirt would be untucked. So there's not just the fat the look about him is a little fat. It's also a little sloppy. But he also has a tremendous nickname in his playing career. They called him the Meat Hook, which, listen, play on words. Kudos to whoever threw that nickname out at him. And he came up prominently. The second that you search fat baseball players, there's a Dimitri Young picture not too far behind that. Of course, it's not running fast, but it's not too far behind it. But he had, actually, like, he had a good, like, post-career life. I believe he was a coach. I think he was an executive. So he stayed around baseball, maybe even at the lower levels, but certainly he's not going to be in your Hall of Fame conversation at all. But definitely a guy that's still somewhat connected to Major League Baseball. Dimitri Young, the Meat Hook.
I remember him being a pretty solid player. Hit for a good average there with those Reds teams, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, good guy to remember.
Moving on to catcher, we've got Bengie Molina, the chubbiest of the Molina brothers. Not a slim tribe themselves, but at one point he was listed as the slowest man in baseball. Not a moniker that you want to carry over. That's not the type of thing that you talk about at your Hall of Fame speech. Unless all you're doing is home run trots, then I would proudly put that on the back of my City Connect jersey if that was a case, if I was a home run king. But Bengie Molina, he had a decent bat. He wasn't as prolific as his other brothers was, but he was certainly he was a sizable man behind the dish. And I mean that two ways, not just the ball field, but also the dinner table. And I think he had the shortest career out of the Molina brothers.
I just can't. After Yadier, who played forever, I kind of forgot how long the other guys were around. There were three, right?
Yeah, Jose, Yadier, and Bengie. And Bengie predominantly was known as a Tampa Bay Ray.
Okay.
So yeah,
didn't he have a stint? Wasn't he on the Rangers team that went to
could have
World Series?
Could have. That's an excellent point.
San Fran. I don't know. He was on one of those teams.
Yeah.
I remember Jose Molina. He was like the backup catcher for the Yankees for a while.
He was. Yes. Yes, you're right. So we're going to get on to the pitchers. I've got a couple pitchers to mention. I've got two starters. I don't think it's much a mystery as to the first person who I would pick as a starter on this team. Big Sexy himself, Bartolo Colon. The most stunning body transformation that I've ever seen in any professional sport. Going from a very wiry 160-pound rookie or younger player in the beginning of his career, ballooning to 285 in his last playing days. Everybody remembers that the famous home run that he hit as a Met in San Diego that Gary Cohen still goes nuts for, and it's still on the Mets Classics today. But also, one thing to point out, he's a man so large that he did have a secret second family that he did have to end up paying. So he's too much man for one family. He has a second secret family out there somewhere.
Is it true that when he had his home run that the SNY broadcast went to a commercial break, and when they came back, he was just rounding third base, heading for home?
I can't. I did watch the broadcast. The only thing I could watch was his body as he was smiling and running around the bases, just seeing his body jiggle like a marshmallow man or a man made of Jello was great. And also, anytime that he would come to the plate, home runs or no home runs, he would swing so hard his helmet would twist off. But a delightful man, a fan favorite. Even though he didn't spend all of his career with the Mets, it certainly felt like they appreciated him more than any other franchise that he played for, and he played for almost everybody. But he would be my first pitcher. My second pitcher, I made note of this while I was putting my team together. The Yankees certainly love their fat pitchers. And I'm going to go with the one that stands out the most to me, and that's David Wells. Because I do remember that Sports Illustrated article where the writer of the article called him fat 10 times in the article, and it drove Wells crazy. Like he was like, this is, I might eat a little bit, I might, enjoy myself and have a few beers after a game, but I'm certainly in the best shape that I could be in defending himself. But he was certainly and I don't have his body stats, but he, come on, let's not trick ourselves into thinking that he wasn't a fat athlete at one point during his life, at major points during his life.
I'm just hearing Yankee like you're Met bias. You just raved about the fat Bartolo Colon hitting a meaningless home run, but then you're gonna pick on Wells, who threw a perfect game and has won World Series. You know what? I'm fake lifting. Call me when it's my turn.
Listen,
it's Yankee bias.
It's not Yankee bias. He's on the team. I could have put Jabba Chamberlain in this spot.
Yeah, I thought you were going to maybe go with Sabathia, but he slimmed down toward the end. Maybe that.
Yeah.
How do you not put Arabu, the guy who is known as the
Arabu?
Fat Toad?
Well, okay. He also listen, there were a lot to choose from. Sidney Ponson, also another corpulent man, but I went with David Wells because he did throw a perfect game. So listen, I might call a guy fat, and I might reference.
I'm just saying I don't like your tone when you went from praising a former Met pitcher to then all of a sudden bashing a Yankee legend.
Yeah, I sort of felt like until you got to Wells, you were calling these guys fat in an endearing way, and then it became. I don't know where you're coming from on this one here exactly, but I think the captain's right.
Fair play on that. Bartolo Colon also did play for the Yankees at one point.
Yeah, that gets overshadowed a little bit, but by that point, I wasn't clear on how he was still getting batters out toward the end of his career, because he would just throw it straight down the middle at like 88 miles an hour, and I don't know if that had to do with the physics of being of a ball of a straight, as Pedro Serrano would say, a straight ball being pitched by a guy with that girth, but the physics never added up to me. How he lasted that long just without much velocity or breaking
or
stuff.
move, right? Yeah, not a lot of movement.
Yeah, he's
Are you saying Jesus couldn't hit a curveball?
So let's hit a couple of relief pitchers again. As I mentioned at the beginning of my lineup, there were a lot of guys to choose from in the relief spot, but you can't deny Bobby Jenks. Bobby Jenks is the poster boy for schlubby fat athletes. He was 6'4". So we'll give him. He was a tall man, and I think he topped out at about 275 is what I saw. Bad goatee. He dyed his goatee when he was playing with the Chicago White Sox. I think it was like purple or fuchsia. So a bad look. Just always looked tired. But yeah, he played for the Red Sox, White Sox, in the over the last 15 years were his time. Just not a really great pitcher either. Like that's if we're gonna say that our starting rotation is two guys that are serviceable in their spots and had flashes of greatness, Bobby Jenks, very few flashes. He might have had flashes at the buffet table, but not at the not towing the rubber. So Bobby Jenks is right in there.
The guy I kind of had forgotten about, but was he the closer on that World Series team of 20 years ago for the White Sox?
Probably.
Maybe that was his brief, good period.
His moment in the sun, as they say. Second guy that I've got in the bullpen, Charlie Kerfeld.
Oh yeah.
I'm going back to the 80s for this one. Houston Astro, a sweaty man, a sweaty reliever. Most relievers are sweaty because they're under pressure. Charlie Kerfeld was sweaty because he was on a strict diet of fried chicken and sugary drinks. I believe he had something to do with like Didn't he wear like Jetson socks or
Yes.
something?
I think it was a Jetson shirt under his jersey.
That's what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that was. I don't know if it was a superstition thing or he just really liked the Jetsons. But
I
he-
I
There
kind
you
of
go.
think it was a superstition thing, but like, if there's three things that he's known for, it's that Jetsons connection, it's the fact that he wore glasses in a time where there weren't a lot of spectacle wearers, and if you were a spectacle wearer, most of the time you were going to be a relief pitcher, and then and I don't think he was like fat. It was like he was fat for that time, and it was and he was like young too, like he was like a little chubby kid going out there, and
Contraire, Mofar, I do remember This Week in Baseball where they referenced he had to go to a fat camp in spring training
okay,
Wow.
I stand
because
corrected.
he came
Excellent.
in. I guess they told him like, when you show up for spring training, we want you at this weight,
Mhm.
and apparently he was a little way over the weight that they wanted. So he actually didn't start the season on the major league roster because he was at some sort of fat camp and missed spring training.
That's fantastic. That's a good nugget. So let me power through some other. I do have a DH, and my DH is Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy Tellez is my favorite fat man in the history of baseball. He's got what I like to call a softball body, and he is he currently still with the Blue Jays?
I thought last I saw was the Pirates, but I don't know where he is at the moment.
Pirates are a great fat team, by the way. They love to like stack fat guys, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rowdy's partaking in a few sandwiches of Permontes after games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like classic fat guy build, tons of power, strikes out very often. I would love him on my team just because he just seems real jolly. So he would be my DH. I'm going to hit a couple. John Kruk always gets on everybody's list. My note for John Kruk is that at one point he was sponsored by Denny's. So that's great. The heaviest player ever to play Major League Baseball was Walter Young, who played a few seasons for the Baltimore Orioles. It's tipping the scales at 322 pounds. So he's a tremendous fat man. Terry Forster, once called a fat tub of goo by David Letterman on the old Late Night with David Letterman show. So he would be in my dugout. And then I would also have Aaron Harang, who also has one of the greatest nicknames. They called him the Harangutan. Because he's an ugly man. He's a very ugly man, but he had very much like a lot of fat carried in his face. And just because I need a backup catcher, Sal Fasano, one of the world's greatest mustaches in baseball, and a pretty sweet Kentucky waterfall for a mullet. Beautiful Fu Manchu mustache, and his nickname was Cousin Sal. So that would do it for my fathletes.
Rowdy Tellez is a newly acquired by the Seattle Mariners for this year, by the way, if you want to follow him, everybody out there.
Tremendous.
But
Currently batting 200 with 3 strikeouts and 6 plate appearances.
Yeah.
I didn't know how he was doing yet, but see, now he bounced around in recent years. He was a Brewer and a Pirate, which I get him confused sometimes with a guy who I thought was going to be on the list, which is other former Met great Daniel Vogelbach.
Daniel
I thought
Vogelbach,
would
yeah.
show up,
Yeah.
but you literally can't fit everybody on this lineup.
No, your bench would collapse underneath the weight of them.
if I may make a suggestion, you were kind of struggling at second base.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that kind of comes to my mind later in his years put on some poundage and played second base. Luis Sojo. He was kind of skinny
okay.
with the Mariners, and then the Yankees picked him up always as like a utility infielder, but mainly he was like a second baseman when like Chuck Knobloch was like having his issues and couldn't throw the furt. He was always like a defensive replacement pinch hitter later in the innings.
Okay.
But definitely, I think sitting the bench for the Yankees for those dynasty years, he definitely had like kind of a double chin and had put on some weight from his
Well,
earlier days in
yeah.
Seattle.
You just know the Yankees have a better buffet than the Mariners.
Yeah,
I mean, let's
yeah.
just be honest. Crab. I've heard about the crab legs.
Crab
You know,
legs. Yeah.
in various parts of the stadium. You know, got to be better than Seattle.
Louis Soho, maybe chubbed up. All right, but yeah, that's where we're that's where I'm going to turn this over. George, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. My pleasure here. I'm going in a very different direction here, and I could probably a point when I'm running down this roster that I'll explain how I came upon this idea. But for now, I'll just say that uh, this is my all infamy team, for lack of a better term. Infamy could be scandals, criminal record, or accusations, whether whether you were proven or guilty or convicted or not. Some of these guys have a better track record, and some of them are just kind of regrettable moments, mostly off the field, that some of these guys made news with. So it's a little serious at times, but we tried to have fun with it also. So
Okay.
I will start with a guy because I want to go around the infield. So I'm going to start with a guy who I know is near and dear to Mr. Madden's heart. That is our first baseman, Steve Garvey. And I know one of the things you like to comment on is his hair, but that's not why he's on the team.
Okay. All right.
But, I believe you have famously dubbed him as having Lego hair.
All Lego. He's all Lego hair team. Yes.
And I can't unsee that. Like every, however many years ago you said that to me, it's it's the first thing I think of. But he's on this team for other reasons. Basically, very accomplished career with the Dodgers in the 70s into the early 80s. But also he had this image as very clean cut, all-American kind of guy. Until after he was done playing, it came out. Some of his infidelities and such came out in the late 80s when he had retired. I'm going to defer to Sports Illustrated on this because you need a scorecard to keep track of
Okay. All right.
Steve Garvey's activity. As Sports Illustrated wrote in 1989 of Garvey, in the space of 8 months, he had affairs with 3 women at once, impregnated 2, and married a 4th. I mean, that's
Where does he have time
incredible.
to train for baseball?
Yeah.
So he might have went Ofer at the ballpark, but he didn't go Ofer at the hotel. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like he settled down in retirement at all. So you could almost see some of these guys living a lifestyle on the road maybe would have some of that extracurricular going on. But this was when he was done playing. So
Wow.
Well, we know what he was like when he was done playing. We've seen the Steve Garvey bill fishing specials on ESPN and Steve Garvey celebrity skiing. He hung out with some rapscallions like Michael Floorwax and the guy who played the sheriff in Murder, She Wrote. So
I forgot about the sheriff. But yes, if anybody, if you love all things Steve Garvey, and who doesn't, track down what Mike is referring to there. If you can find it, the old ESPN show Seats,
yeah,
was hosted by the Sklar brothers, the comedians. They goof on Steve Garvey hosting a celebrity skiing event or something. It's awful, but
yeah, oh yeah,
but worth finding. And I just was going to add, actually, so Steve Garvey had this scandal of extramarital things or multiple affairs. Naturally, years later, with a family values track record like that, he did recently try to enter politics. You might have noticed last year, you might have heard last year, he ran for a Senate seat in California, but he lost decisively to Adam Schiff. So I don't know.
Right,
I don't know what Steve Garvey's doing next, but he
Yeah.
took a family values platform and did not win.
Fucking California.
he's standing outside of Cooperstown, probably saying, "Is it my turn to get in yet?"
Oh.
Steve Garvey, famously father of our nation, quote unquote, Steve Garvey, the father of our nation, aka not my Padre. So,
And if you enjoy more, if you want to hear more about Steve Garvey being a phony, I might recommend the recent ESPN doc. It's about the Yankees-Dodgers 70s rivalry called Uncivil War, it's called.
okay,
And Steve Garvey being a phony is definitely a storyline in that you might enjoy. So
I love
there
it.
you go.
Yeah, I'm in
All
for
right. Well, let me get moving because I have a lot of a very full roster to get to
it.
here.
Okay,
Second base, this guy, you know he has to be on this team somewhere. He did play various positions, but we'll put him in at second base where I think he played the most in his prime, and that is Pete Rose. He has to be
okay,
here.
all right.
Obviously, I don't know if there's a better known scandal than his betting scandal. In short, he's baseball's all-time hit leader, but has been banned for almost 40 years after he agreed to a lifetime ban when his betting on the game came to light. But he proceeded to lie about it for I don't know how many years, good 15 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Then he wrote a book suddenly confessing that he did it, but he's still on the ineligible list and not in the Hall of Fame. And he tried to plead his case over the last, I don't know, decade or so of his life until he died back in September. But he's best known off the field for the gambling thing. But in the last couple of years, some very unseemly things were alleged about him with statutory rape.
Oh
and,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if there's a Hall of Fame for the all infamy team, Pete will be a first ballot. I'm confident in saying, but he's our second baseman.
He would also make the Hall of Fame for worst hair.
Yeah.
He
He's
had
fighting
the
with
same
Garvey.
He had the same haircut as Mo from the Three Stooges
Yeah.
for his entire playing career.
Or an
That's
Asian.
always worth mentioning.
He's got an Asian woman haircut. Like it's
Well,
it's not great.
we've got two guys so far who have hair that we don't approve of. So we'll see how we go here with our third guy. Okay, at shortstop, we'll go with Bill Ripken.
Oh.
Now, brother of Cal, of course.
Of course.
Speaking of All-American,
Yeah.
role models, Cal Ripken, and of course, Billy Ripken, lesser-known infielder, part of the Ripken family. The Ripken way was preached.
Yes. Yes.
So Billy didn't really have, huge moment of ill repute, but this is kind of just a fun one to bring up from our childhood, people our age. He probably would have had a very forgettable career, long career, but not distinguished. Just was an okay player.
Right.
But back in the late 80s, he had the semi-scandal of having a baseball card with a profanity on it.
Yes.
Should I repeat the phrase, or is this kid show today? Are we,
It said F face on it.
F face.
yes.
F
he-
dash
he-
dash dash face. Yes.
His
Yep.
19 yeah his
Fuck face. We say
1989
fuck a lot.
1989 Fleer card. He is pictured holding a bat with the words "fuckface" written on the bottom of the handle. So he explained it at the time that it was a hastily arranged photo shoot. He grabbed the bat that he had written that phrase on it. He says to differentiate it as a batting practice bat, not one for games. So he says he grabbed it in a hurry, didn't know
That's
he was supposed. So I thought that was the end of it. And then in doing some research for the show here, because I'm a serious podcast host / journalist, of course.
Okay. Right.
I didn't know that many years later, when he was interviewed about it, it gets better. He was like criticizing the Fleer card company for like not noticing the F word on his bat, and he then went on to say that he says, I don't write that clearly. They enhanced my writing because they wanted to make a big thing out of it and have it be a sought after collectible.
Scandal.
Like, he ended up having a conspiracy theory about
That's
it.
not great.
So
Okay.
I don't feel so bad putting him on this list. That's kind of a weird thing to throw out there, like throwing someone under the bus.
Little known fact. One time I was trying to write a book where Billy Ripken. It was in the kind of the tune of The Natural, where instead of Wonder Boy, he hit all these home runs using a bat. Fuckface.
Does he still work?
It was carved out of the tree that hit Cal Ripken Sr.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Does he still work for MLB Network? By the way, Billy.
I haven't tuned in yet this season, but
Okay.
he has been a regular.
Yeah.
In recent years, and I think he's pretty good.
He does okay.
Personal, just one of those moments where he was wrong place, wrong time, or whatever. But the explanation years later, I never had heard. So it's just been educational for me to dig into some of this.
That's very eye opening.
Something I didn't know.
Bill Ripken. I don't think he liked being called Billy Ripken. I think he preferred Bill.
God, one of those.
One of those. Yeah.
I'm not sure on that, but at least I'm not calling him fuckface. That's
Well, he's got that covered. Don't worry.
he called himself that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So moving on here, another guy you figure would have to be on here, and I meant to give a disclaimer. It would be easy to fill out a whole lineup or roster of just steroid guys. I didn't want to do that. That's not fun. But if I had to pick one guy who could just sort of represent all of them, it would have to be Alex Rodriguez.
I did not cheat. Right.
Because you could think of the other major figures of the steroid era scandals. Like, Barry Bonds was always surly and
yeah.
not a nice guy and probably was not truthful either. But A-Rod took it to such ridiculous lengths to like proclaim his innocence more than once, like in the most public forums possible. He minutes,
Yeah. Yeah.
telling the world he was clean, and then but then he went through it all again after he was suspended for doping. He went through this all again later in his career when he was still with the Yankees, and had a second time where he stormed over to WFAN and had like 45 minutes with Francesa
Yep.
saying everybody was out to get him and he was innocent. And then he had to fess up to that one too. Somewhere in there, he sued the Yankees during that for medical malpractice or something. He likes attention so much, he would probably be flattered to be on this
Oh,
list.
of course.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he's earned it. But he's the kind of guy, even if he wasn't a steroid guy, would be infamous for other stuff, like of course, famously knocking the ball out of the Red Sox pitcher's hand on his way to first base. And my personal favorite, I think, is I can't remember if you guys were at this game with me. I was at a Yankees game in the A-Rod years, probably 20 years ago now. Day he was sunning himself in Central Park for the paparazzi shirtless.
Yeah.
And then that night he made, I think, 3 errors and went 0 for 4. It was just classic A-Rod.
Clown.
He always found a way to make headlines, and really hardly ever for good reasons. So he's earned it. These are right in the heart of our batting order and playing third base.
Good.
Where he deserves to be. So
it would be better if he played shortstop, but we're not going to open up that can of worms.
Could be another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
I might also mention you could have put Ken Caminetti at third base. So.
That's true. Yeah. I guess my 2 disclaimers would be I didn't want to have a ton of steroid guys because I think people were sick of hearing about them after a while. And I also was like, no Bill Buckner. I feel like he's been abused enough. And
right, exactly.
He just shouldn't, my contention, shouldn't have been in the game to make that famous error. And once he appeared on Curb Your Enthusiasm, sort of making fun of himself. Never say a bad word.
He got a clean slate.
I mean, that's got to count for something.
Plus, there was a Game 7, and they still lost that game.
All fair points.
Yep. All right. So if you are good with, I'll move on to catcher now. If we're all caught up here.
Yeah.
Again, kind of like what you alluded to, Madden. Some of these guys are not equal offenders to others, but we had to fill out a lineup. So my catcher, and maybe I struggled to find catchers, and maybe you'll think of one I should have thought of, but I went with AJ Pierzynski. He was just
bingo bango.
Pretty well-traveled guy who just always seemed to be irritating. Usually to opponents. Like he's kind of like baseball's Draymond Green type. Like if he's on your team, great, but you hate him when he's on the other team. But largely that was good. I think he brought an edge to teams, but he did have some moments that I think qualify him to be our catcher. I'd forgotten he was on the Red Sox maybe after peak of his career. And from what I was reading, the other players disliked him so much they basically went to management and said, you have to release this guy, which I don't think I've ever heard of before. And when he was on the Giants, it was alleged that he need the team trainer in the groin. So, I mean, if you need a catcher, I mean, he's our man to, handle this pitching staff.
Plus, wasn't he the asshole who brought "Don't Stop Believing" back too?
Oh,
when he was on that White Sox team.
Yeah,
and that was like their motto or whatever, and he played it. So, I mean, just
maybe
for
I blocked that out.
Just for that, he should be on this team.
He's a baseball scumbag. Like he's an instigator, a dirty player at the plate. The countless stories of him, like, there'd be a play at the plate, whether he got it or didn't get it, like he's arguing with umps, he's stepping on runners' ankles, he's, blocking the plate in an egregious way, like, and just like A-Rod, he's a guy who's got a career in broadcasting. How that happened, where did all the good guy broadcasters go? That's my question.
I don't remember the dirty plays so much, except the one play I went and looked up that I remembered that kind of sums him up was he sparked a brawl against the Cubs, White Sox Cubs, interleague rivalry game.
Sure.
He barreled into the Cubs catcher, who was Michael Barrett at the time. I think he slapped his hand on home plate kind of obnoxiously.
Of course,
or at least the Cubs thought so.
Yeah.
And he sparked a brawl. And if you want to find it on YouTube, look that one up, and it kind of sums him up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's all bad. I think sometimes there's a place for guys like that for playing with some edge. But again, I didn't have a ton of candidates for catcher. I do admit, but I think he would fit in nicely here. So we'll go to the outfield now. Another guy you probably would expect, another gambling scandal guy, but from way back, we would go with Shoeless Joe Jackson for
Oh,
one of our outfield spots.
classic.
I don't pretend to be an expert on the Black Sox scandal. I know probably as much as your average baseball fan knows,
Hmm.
but he's kind of the face of the scandal, maybe because of his nickname or maybe because of his role in it has been debated over the years. But uh, and of course, this was the basis of the movie Eight Men Out that
Yep.
I'm sure some of our
Yep.
listeners have seen. But um, he was acquitted by a jury, but remains banned from baseball anyway as part of the 19 was it 1919 World Series. The White Sox
Yes.
Yes.
were the White Sox were in the eyes of baseball deemed to have thrown the World Series in a gambling
Hmm.
scandal. So,
Right.
but I didn't know till doing some research though that when it comes to his role in it, he denied taking money from gamblers. But a book just a couple years ago about it actually had court transcripts and witness testimony, including from Shoeless Joe's wife, who really make it sound like he was guilty. The
Mm.
quote from the author I saw was, "He took the money. There's no doubt about it. Whether he played his best on the field for the White Sox, love the debate." So
That's
very
it. Yeah.
controversial figure and still sort of inconclusive, but uh, fairly or not, he is synonymous with that scandal. So he gets an outfield
Yeah,
spot. For us.
I think it is unfair, and I think that's the type of thing that it's going to be an interesting debate if Major League Baseball decides at any point to just like acquiesce to the Rose family or whatever and do like a posthumous induction for Pete Rose. I think there should be, you know, as many voices saying, well, if you're going to do that, Shoeless Joe definitely deserves the exoneration and then the posthumous induction for him as well. But these are, you know, it's I know enough about, like, just like you, I know enough about it. I never read the books, but I've seen the Eight Men Out movie, and I've heard my brother talk at nauseum about because he knows a lot about and did a lot of research on, you know, the White Sox scandal and Shoeless Joe and some of the corruption that went on in and around baseball and the White Sox at that time. So I leave that to the experts. But yeah, he definitely has a notorious name for sure.
He
Yeah,
was
but-
also, sorry,
ahead, Mike.
he was also kind of in the few books that I read that kind of touched either about him or the scandal. He was illiterate. Apparently, according to a lot of the books and stuff, wasn't really the brightest man.
Okay.
So it was kind of like he kind of got caught up in it, but the alleged thing was that like he took the money, but he was because he was kind of slow or whatever. Like he didn't fully understand what was going on, and that's why he didn't commit an error in the whatever it was 7 or 8 games that was the series went, and he hit like close to 400.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to think a guy through the series but played perfect baseball and hit close to 400.
Yeah.
So there was always that thing of like, because of his lack of education and stuff, that he was either duped or like just fully didn't understand kind of like what was going on.
Yeah, good points, both of you. I do think if there is a groundswell, and I think it's more likely to happen now that Rose has passed. I think if Rose gets in, I think you'll see a groundswell for Shoeless Joe also
Good,
because,
yeah.
like you just touched on, Captain, he's more of a sympathetic figure. You know, Rose was not a sympathetic figure, just the way he
no.
carried himself. So, so there you go. So that's one outfielder. The second one here, also kind of a guy you would think would land here, and we'll go with Lenny Dykstra, a guy who,
Wow.
Car wash Lenny?
in an effort to keep this podcast under 3 hours, I'm not going to get into everything he's been accused of, but he checked a lot of boxes, both from his playing days and then since. Going even back, prime of his career in the early 90s, he had a drunk driving crash. He's had all kinds of accusations, and I'm not saying he was found to be liable or guilty for all of these. These are just the things that he was accused of. You know, sexual incidents, some with people under 18. You know, I think there were bankruptcies. There's just the whole list here is something else. You could find writing a bad check to an escort. I mean, he found creative ways to stay in the news.
Back when escorts could take checks.
Bankruptcy fraud was in
Who,
there.
who's he think he is? Jerry Springer?
Yeah, seriously,
He was
come
accused
on.
of stealing jewelry from a porn star who was once engaged to Charlie Sheen. I mean, there's
Oh,
anytime
okay. All right.
it's usually
Llama.
Yeah, feels like a Robin
La
Hood situation.
Machine.
It feels
Yeah,
like a Robin Hood situation there more than
and then-
anything.
I don't remember him being in the news as much lately, but not too long ago in our backyard here
Mm-hmm.
in New Jersey, he was living in Linden, New Jersey, where he also couldn't stay out of trouble. He was
Yeah.
accused of threatening to kill an Uber driver, but he was cleared of that.
Been there.
And then while also living there, this is the last I pretty much heard of him getting in trouble, was he was accused of running an illegal boarding house that had like garbage piling up everywhere. I don't know.
great.
Never a dull moment with Lenny, and I'm
All
not
right.
saying he did all these things, and I think Lenny likes to threaten lawsuits, so I would just say I do
Okay,
not
all right.
vouch for his guilt in any of these things, but
This is all alleged.
he did a few years ago. I believe he tried to sue his former teammate Ron Darling over
Oh, yeah.
Darling's book.
Comments that he made in the
And-
book. Yeah.
So this is a few years ago, after like 20 some odd years of Lenny having some lot of off the field issues that were negative and brought this reputation on him. So the Darling thing that was quickly, I think, squelched by a judge who said, basically, I'm paraphrasing, that nothing Ron Darling wrote in the book could hurt your reputation any more than you
And
already
what you've
had.
done,
So
right? Yeah.
yeah, so
what you've actually gone to prison for.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that was probably 3-4 years ago, and I think it's been quiet for Lenny since then. But hopefully he's done making headlines for this sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
a very long track record, so I felt like he would be a guy to put out there.
He's a good candidate. He has a lot of scumbag tendencies. He had a lot. Again, I think when you talk about Julius Joe Jackson not being a very smart man, I think, and maybe it's because of illiteracy and just the way that guys were brought up in those days. Like, I think Lenny Dykstra certainly could qualify as one of the dumbest people in all of professional sports. Just full stop. He's a very dumb person. He says bad things. He's always carried that like chip on his shoulder, which was great when he was a ball player. But when you're abusing people off the field, when you're
allegedly.
when you're also when you're like terrible with your finances and then trying to give people financial advice, it's not great. It doesn't build a good resume for you post baseball. So hopefully he'll get the message one of these days to just chill out and relax a little bit.
My
So-
favorite
so.
story was Andy Van Slyke, the former Pittsburgh Pirate great, once complained about the amount of chewing tobacco that was spit all over in center field
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
AstroTurf, and once quipped that I'm going to develop feet cancer if he doesn't stop doing this.
There you go. That's a
Lenny was known to have like a very big wad of
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
chewing tobacco in his
dip guy.
Yeah.
That's a problem nobody needs to worry about now with no artificial turf left, really, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
that's true.
I could see it just soaking in there like a carpet. You're right, yeah. As opposed to the grass. Wow, that's a throwback. You don't see that much tobacco either these days, do you? Not much, right?
Sunflower
I think it
seeds.
might. I know in the minors it's outlawed. I don't know
Yeah.
if in the majors
Yeah.
it might.
All right, well, enough about Lenny, and we'll move on to the final outfield spot here with a guy who was very intense on the field, and sometimes that seemed to, at least in one very famous incident, maybe carried over off the field, and that's Albert Bell.
Oh, Joey.
Albert, formerly known as Joey Bell. Albert Bell, I think the most famous thing involving him, besides his really good career, but off-field stuff, was he famously was, for lack of a better term, got angered by some trick-or-treaters. And the story goes they came to his house and maybe a family member answered the door and told the kids they didn't have any candy or something, so it did not go over well. I'm sure the kids knew this was a millionaire ball player's house and they weren't having it, that he was not giving out Snickers, I guess. So
Right.
then allegedly in response to that, I don't know if Albert was leaving his house or he was upset at the mob of kids, but he was accused of like bumping a teenager with his vehicle. So he became known as the guy who blew a fuse at trick-or-treaters. But he had other moments of infamy. We don't go by one thing here usually to make this squad. We're hard graders. He was suspended from baseball for using a cork bat. I almost had forgotten that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also earlier than that, very early in his career, he was being heckled by a fan, and I think the fan was making reference to Albert having been a recovering alcoholic. I think, which is that's touchy
Okay.
stuff.
All
But
right. Well,
he did not handle it well, and he threw a ball at the fan and hit him in the chest. And
Yeah.
you can imagine that was a big thing. I think he was suspended for that also. So.
I remember that.
So yeah, he had a few moments there, but heck of a player. Didn't play as long as I remembered. He came up one year and hit like 4 home runs,
Yeah.
and then I think was a regular after that. So he finished with 381 homers, but 373 came in a 12-year span. Like that's a pretty good.
that's pretty prolific. Yeah.
I believe
Don't
he,
remember. I
believe
don't
he had
remember. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I believe he had to retire early because of an injury.
I couldn't remember, and I didn't really have time to look. But I
He was with
trying
the
to-
Orioles. I think he was with the He signed a real big contract with the Orioles,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
I think
I'm
somewhere
fuzzy on the
somewhere
ends.
along there, I think he had like some sort of problem with his neck, and he had to get something fused
I'll
or
buy
something like
that.
that.
Yeah,
And so he had to retire. I think he was in like his either early to mid 30s when he retired, and he probably still had a good 4 or 5 more years left of putting up decent numbers.
That sounds right. I was doing more research on the controversial stuff. I don't remember how it ended for him, except I'm pretty sure he's one of the rare guys big power hitters from that time, who I don't think was ever implicated in the steroids. But I could be misremembering. But it's a pretty short list, Frank Thomas or
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. There's not many, but I think he might be one of them. So
Mm.
anyway,
Okay.
Albert, can't forget some of his classic tales of infamy. So there you go. There's my position players. We do have some pitchers, and I'll try to move through them a little quickly here. We'll go with a guy who was a starting pitcher, one of our starting pitching spots, MLB's last 30-game winner. I say last as in not only the most recent to do it, but let's face it, nobody's doing this again.
Yeah, right.
That would be Denny McLain, won 30 games
yes.
in 1968
Yes.
for the Tigers. Obviously, a guy before our time, so
Mhm.
maybe guys our age know the negative stuff more because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
carried that with him. He got in some more trouble off and on all throughout the years, and
Mhm.
as I'll get into a little of it, but he kind of flamed out quickly. I think he had arm problems in the early 70s, but won 30 games in 1968, won the Cy Young Award. He won it again the next year also. And then come early 1970, his involvement in bookmaking came to light. As reported by Sports Illustrated and also, which I did not expect, Penthouse Magazine. I didn't know they had an investigative unit. But,
I didn't think you knew they had articles.
I think it was all in photo captions. How they did the
It was a
reporting.
cartoon.
So simultaneously, almost both magazines had exposés on Denny McLain and bookmaking, and
Uh-huh.
that was kind of the beginning of his scandals. I think there were bankruptcy issues. Then he bounced around baseball, was gone by the early 70s. He did prison time for drug trafficking,
Yep. Yeah,
embezzlement.
that's what I remember.
He was indicted in some kind of phone card scam, and this is never good, along with others, including John Gotti Jr. Never good when you're mentioned. That's even worse than mentioning the Charlie Sheen connection that we mentioned earlier. With
By the way, just to jump in, a phone card scam that's the greatest late '90s crime
yeah,
that
this is
that you could
late
that you could
90s,
have. Yeah,
Screams late 90s. Yep.
it's on the Mount Rushmore of late '90s crimes.
Yeah. So that's kind of the quick Denny McLain tale of woe. Short career, really great for a short
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I did find out a couple good things about him. We'll have a little balance to Denny McLain here.
Okay.
I didn't know that he was an organist and put out albums of his organ music.
Really?
I think he put out records on Capitol Records even. Is wild.
Wow, major label artist.
He played on the Ed Sullivan Show. I
okay.
didn't know he was known for this, but there wasn't enough to keep
Him and
on
Topo
the straight and
Gigio.
narrow. And in looking stuff up for the show here, I found a clip of Mickey Mantle talking about Denny McLain. Maybe you think this is a good thing, or maybe you don't. But
Uh-huh.
the Mick claimed that 68, Denny McLain's big year, was the end of Mickey Mantle's career. And he says late in the season, in what was Mickey Mantle's final trip to Detroit, everyone knew he was retiring, I guess. Denny McLain made sure to groove him a fastball so he could crank a home run in
Oh.
Detroit one more time. So the
Okay.
Mick the Mick tipped his cap to Denny McLain for that gesture, which I
And
did
Denny
not know
McLain
about.
tipped his pitch. So that's
Yep, there you go.
wonderful. Well, all right.
So moving on, we have a couple more starters. I will.
Okay.
Here's another guy that I don't think anyone's going to shed a tear for being on this list. That is Kurt Schilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell of a playoff pitcher,
Mhm.
but a guy who has had some problems with some comments he's made, probably when he was playing, but especially after he was playing.
Magnified when he was off the field for sure.
Yeah, he was working for ESPN a while back. The big one I think was he made some comment comparing Muslims to Nazis, and at least that was the accusation. So that came while he was working the Little League World Series. Nice, wholesome family event.
Hey, kids.
He was suspended. I think he came back, but there were always problems with things he was tweeting, and he was eventually bounced from ESPN. But then he also had a controversy. He basically bankrupted a video game company he had started.
Yeah, I've
And
read this.
also, the state of Rhode Island, where I guess it was located, lent him $75 million. And so they were kind of belly up also. It was a
Wow.
big mess.
Wow.
I don't know why he got into the video game business. And I'm also surprised that a state the size of Rhode Island could give $75 million to anybody. But
I mean that's you got to look through the lost cash in that one.
I mean,
Huh.
I don't really know what they do there besides make Narragansett beer, but maybe they were trying to generate a new industry, and Kurt Schilling
It could
was
be.
not the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
choice.
A
But
cottage industry of video games with Kurt Schilling.
so he said that totally tapped him out.
Mm.
I don't really know what he's doing these days, but a guy who, again, gutsy pitcher, won some big games. He's the poster boy probably for the 04 Red Sox.
Maybe a bloody
Sock and
sock.
whatnot.
Maybe a doctored bloody sock.
Right, which is also controversial whether that
Yeah.
was legit or not. But again,
I believe he
comments
did.
got him in trouble.
He did at one point pursue litigate. He wanted to sue Major League Baseball because they wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. That's always a great thing because in the way that they've changed how they vote for the Hall of Fame now, a guy like him could get a second look in the modern times and probably change a few people's minds and get in there. But when you're turning around and suing them and being such a pouty baby about it, and then he said, I'm suing Major League Baseball and I never want to be considered again. I want to be taken off of the ballots altogether. And it's like, well, dude, you fell off the ballot. Yeah, and we're probably not going to put you on the Veterans Committee ballot. So best of luck.
Yeah, another guy who's not going to get the sympathy.
Kind of
vote,
a big mouth. That's the gist of it. Great player, never going to turn anything away. And again, I think stats wise, he does deserve consideration, but I think he makes more trouble for himself away from the game than he made, believers out of his playing career. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Anything to add there, Captain, before I move on? Or
It's just one of those things where, like, since they make the voting public, nobody's going to want to be the guy that gives him a vote, because then you're going to get as much,
Yeah.
oh, you voted, he's got a reputation, and especially now in our climate, like, nobody wants to be the guy that, like, that voted for him. So
Lightning rod.
he maybe suing Major League Baseball might be his only route to actually getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. We'll see.
all right, well, I'll get moving on to my last starting pitcher here, and another guy who's well documented, so I won't spend too much time on him. But I think because it's right in the wheelhouse, I don't want to speak for you two guys, but we're children of the '80s, and this is a sad story, but a dynamic player for a brief time. I have to put Dwight Gooden on there.
Okay.
Just because he fell from such great heights. Golden arm, phenom, teenager,
No doubt.
lighting up baseball, and just once drugs and other stuff came into the picture, or at least I'm sure he was I think he was using even when he was lighting up the league with those champion Mets. But couldn't overcome it. Was in and out of baseball. Was never the same pitcher once he got really into the outside of the early '90s, I guess I would say. But if anybody younger is listening to this, and we know that nobody under the age of 5 is listening to this, but I'm going to pretend.
The stats say otherwise.
I'm going to pretend. It occurred to me that Gooden was kind of like before things could go viral, he went viral.
I agree
Before
with that
the internet
completely. Yeah.
And it it was by virtue of, yes, there were sports highlight shows, but and highlights on the news, but
Mhm.
it really was a word of mouth thing as well. And I think of the famous mural of him on
Yeah,
the side of a building in New York. That was like an enduring image of him
in
at his peak.
'86. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, he was that good, and uh, you could make a case for the guy he's often linked with, which is Darryl Strawberry. But
Hmm.
Gooden was just so good, and yeah, he like I said, he fell from like the highest.
He blew it.
Uh,
What's good about it is I do believe that he's got his act together these days. He actually does a little bit of the studio work with SNY pregame for the Mets or pregame on SNY. I think he's like one of the panelists on their Baseball Night in America. So yeah, I think listen. He can't be, you can't be a 20-year-old kid like running New York City and being handed everything you were handed and expect to continue that lifestyle, especially after all the legal trouble it got him into, and the various relapses and the various like stop starts when it came to his recovery. But he was, without question, he was the best baseball pitcher that New York had in that brief, like that 85 to 80, I would say 85 to 88 window, even despite the the run-ins with suspensions from the league that happened at the time, and some other off-field stuff. But like he was appointment viewing when he was starting at home. Like he sold a lot of tickets and he got a lot of people paying attention and watching, which was another thing that made that '86 team such a phenomenon. And yeah, it's just a shame. It's he's a guy that like looked to be poised for Cooperstown at one point and just flamed out, and had his little bursts of comebacks, and again another guy who threw a no-hitter later in his career, but just didn't keep his head on straight off the field. So
I'm just wondering when that the Dwight Gooden movie with Denzel Washington that was talked about for like 10 years.
yeah.
When is that coming out? I mean, I think Denzel might be a little bit too old to play.
he might be
Dwight Gooden
aged
right
out. Yeah,
Well, maybe he can play a fat player instead off Mike's list.
could be.
He,
Yeah,
he seems to keep himself in good shape, though, Denzel.
Yeah.
So probably not.
now. He's an action star.
yeah.
I just remember like that '86 World Series. Like he's pitching Game 1. It's October. It's an 8:00 first pitch. It's probably 40 degrees out, and he is just profusely sweating.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, and then he didn't show up. He didn't show up for the parade in '86.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody knew where he was. And I think that's I think the following year he finally got suspended.
He did. He didn't start the '87. The '87
And,
season. He started under suspension.
And yeah, it just like you guys said, man, it's a shame because I would say that '85 season probably goes with like Guidry '78 and like some of the best one year, like maybe in New York, just
Yeah.
wherever you were, you had to stop and watch his games because he was just. I mean, he was making the best hitters in the league look silly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, I can't say it any better. All right, moving on. We got a few relief pitchers I'll run through real quick. Number one, there's a Met connection to this guy too, but the opposite way. Met rival here. Our first reliever slot, we will go with John Rocker.
Oh yes,
Uh,
yes. Still
again,
making
another-
headlines, by the way.
Another guy with a short career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good for a few years for the Braves at the sort of the peak of the Met Braves rivalry of that time. Famously was bashed in New York City and gays and foreigners. Anybody he didn't like on the New York City subway, he bashed in a very famous Sports Illustrated interview around this time. So as if the Met fans didn't already dislike this guy, he became public enemy number one at Shea Stadium. I can still hear the boos when he would sprint in from the outfield like a nut job.
Fuck that guy.
So, but again, so he was suspended over those comments in Sports Illustrated. Then the next season, he threatened the guy who wrote the article.
Right.
He faded out of baseball pretty quickly, though. Another guy with arm problems, Tommy John surgery, I believe. And then I didn't really hear much about him for a while. And then I almost forgot sometime after he retired, he was pushing something called the Speak English campaign, which
Mhm.
is very on brand for
Yeah, yeah.
John Rocker, and he was probably a little ahead of his time. I think he would probably have some more traction with something like that these days, unfortunately. But
Let's not give him any ideas.
no, but then again, I didn't hear about him for a while, and then you may remember. I'm sure you guys remember, but the audience may remember. He popped up the weekend of the Super Bowl, making news in New Orleans, where
Hmm.
it turned out it was a staged altercation he had with Patrick Mahomes' father, Pat,
Yes.
another former
Pat
pitcher,
Senior.
apparently to drum up publicity for a boxing match these guys were going to have, which has
Mhm.
since been canceled.
Yeah, it's
So
been canceled. Yeah.
I don't know what either of those guys does next for a paycheck or a headline, but they're not apparently not going to fight each other. But
Well, I can imagine what Pat Mahomes Sr. is going to be doing. He's just going to go, "Hey, son, there's a new car I want.
Yeah.
You're making $45 million a year.
Yeah.
Buy me it."
Yeah, exactly.
well,
I don't know who John Rocker is going to for monies, but
Surprised he's not a Fox.
Patty Senior's got an ATM.
Yeah, I think
I'm-
yeah,
His
he's
son.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised Rocker has not landed on Fox. And
maybe. Oh, listen,
and I don't mean to give people ideas, but
I'm just saying, like it could be on the horizon. Terrible.
All right,
people.
He couldn't be a better villain for like New York, like a New York, Atlanta. Like he pitches in Atlanta. He's cross-eyed.
Yeah.
He's making all these like redneck statements. Like you could
he's
like
got
if
somebody
somebody
left out,
it
yeah.
was like a wrestling. Like it
Yeah,
was
exactly.
it was that like he was such a heel.
Or he
it
was-
was so purely good scripted.
And he
Yeah,
But
was
it actually was true.
he was Kenny
for the sake
Powers.
of brevity, I left out a few other things he said
Yeah.
that weren't about New York, or maybe were out when he was out of the limelight a little bit. But
Mm.
yeah. So anyway, John Rocker, one more relief pitcher, or I should say two more, real quick. This one's a quick one and kind of a quirky one. A guy I'd forgotten about. His name was Joel Zumaya.
Oh, okay.
He pitched on the Tigers back when they were pretty good about 20 years ago. He was pretty much their best reliever in 2006 when they won the AL pennant. But why he is on this list, you might ask. He famously missed most of the ALCS because of a sore wrist from playing too much Guitar Hero. So we can't let that one pass.
That's
but
fantastic.
I don't have much else to say, so we'll keep it moving. The last relief pitcher I have, the darkest story I will share, and this is fresh in my mind, and this is, I think, the reason when Madden approached me about making a themed lineup, thought about infamy, because I was just a few weeks ago out in Southern California. I drove past what's now Angels Stadium,
right.
Big A, and immediately I thought of this moment happening there. From again going back to our childhood years. So the last reliever is Donnie Moore,
Oh, Donnie Moore.
Oh, man.
who not only gave up an infamous home run, maybe infamous isn't the right word, but to this day, I think it's still the most shocking, like, gut punch I've witnessed in sports, watching it live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to remember, it was back when this was on NBC, back when we all had 5 channels, and it felt like the whole world was watching this.
Yeah.
He was pitching for the Angels. He was their closer. They were one strike away from the World Series. He gave up a shocking home run to Dave Henderson. They lose that game. They go on. That was game 5, I think. They still went on to lose the next 2. I
The
think.
next 2, yeah.
So
Yeah.
to your point about Bill Buckner before captain, yes, they played more games after this, but like maybe the wind was out of the sails. I don't know. So he also didn't last much longer. This was 86. I think he was out of baseball by 89.
Yeah. Yeah.
He might have even been injured when he gave up that home run, whether we all knew it at the time or not. I don't remember, but by 89, he was out of baseball. And the really sad turn this takes is that he was suffering from depression and maybe in a rocky marriage, whatever. He had an altercation with his wife where he shot her. She survived, but then he shot himself and committed suicide. So just like a double shock. He's involved in a shocking on-field moment that was like, wow, I can't believe that just happened. And it's tempting to connect the dots between his career unraveling and then him killing himself. But apparently there's more to the story, speculate, but they're kind of lumped together.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Very sad.
if you take the tragedy out of it, it's the shocking moment from all my years watching that it's still one of the ones that I always think of.
Yeah. It was again. We're talking about the same time frame as Dwight Gooden, and you're thinking about like, all right, well, he flushed his career down the toilet. Donnie Moore really didn't, he never recovered from, a bad home run, and it's tragic to think about it and to relive it, but so it goes.
All right, I'll do some bench players real quick, so then the captain can get on with his lineup here. We're waiting for. So, quick bench here. We will go with our first outfielder, Ruben Rivera,
Cool.
one-time Yankee,
Yeah.
and he bounced around after that as well, but best known not for being Mariano Rivera's cousin, although that is a claim to fame.
That's right. Yeah.
He is best known for, according to the Associated Press, stealing equipment from Derek Jeter's locker and selling these items to a dealer. I believe it was a bat and a glove for $2,500. I
Yeah,
think he could have
yeah.
gotten more, but let's say
Absolutely
maybe
could have gotten more.
2001 prices though. Inflation a lot more now, but I feel like if you're going to go to these lengths, maybe make a little more. But
Right.
this was his second stint on the Yankees, and it was a brief one. They let him go immediately. Being Mariano's cousin did not count for much once you cross Jeter, so he was out of there. He played a few more years with the Reds, Rangers, Giants, and that's a big risk for a team like the Reds, because they probably can't afford to have a guy stealing equipment. Small market.
Yeah, that's
team
true.
and all,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. They don't have a lot
so,
tied
yeah.
up in extra equipment. Yeah.
it's one of those ones that came to mind about quirky, infamous moments.
Yeah.
Another outfielder we'll add here. His name was Marty Cordova. I don't know if you remember him. I think he
do.
was a rookie of the year. with the Twins, I want
Twins
to say.
rookie of the year in '93, maybe.
But his infamous moment came later with the Orioles.
Okay.
The legend was that he had to sit out a game because he suffered burns to his face from falling asleep in a tanning bed. And I remember that story, so I went looking it up, and it turns out he gave, again, I don't know where somebody found this guy or why he was on somebody's mind in recent years to revisit this, but somebody interviewed him very recently where he said the tanning bed story was not true.
Oh.
He says that, I guess he had a beard at one time, or maybe he had gotten rid of the beard. He says he got ingrown hairs on his face.
Oh.
So he went to a plastic surgeon to have them removed. I don't know, with a laser or what procedure that entails. Well, I guess his face was burned or messed up, for lack of a better term, from the plastic surgeon work on him. So he did miss a game, and he says he didn't want to give the plastic surgeon a bad reputation. So he let the tanning bed story be an urban legend that we all thought was the case all these years. But there you go.
So he's making side deals with the plastic with the plastic surgeon. By the way, what a leap! I have an ingrown hair. Let me go to a plastic surgeon to take care of it. Like a dermatologist might be an easier route.
I
fella.
think I need to know more about this. Why he needed to go to a plastic surgeon? But yeah, again, how? I mean, I know those are painful, I guess, but I mean, you can't just. I don't know. You can't just play ball with a
put some
painful hair
put
in
some
your
cream
face.
on it. Get out
I
there.
don't
What?
know.
He wasn't a starting catcher for the Orioles anyway, right? Like, I think
He
he
was
was
an
a catcher.
outfielder.
Oh, he's outfielder. Okay,
Yeah, he
all
was.
right.
I believe he was. Yeah, I mean, unless he also played catcher, and I'm not aware.
Might
but
have been.
I know he was
I'm
definitely an
thinking.
outfielder.
I'm thinking. I saw a card of his that he was a catcher in. But either way, just sit on the bench. Just ask for a little bit of time to get your face less scarred up or overheated from a tanning bed, whatever it is.
All right, let me get to my fielder here. A guy who is worthy of starting based on his career, but we'll make him but he played multiple positions, so he's probably perfect to be our utility guy.
Okay.
That is Jeff Kent,
Oh, what's wrong with
slugging
Jeff Kent?
infielder,
Okay.
hit more home runs than people think. Of course, I don't have that number in front of me like I should, but I think he's hit the most by a second baseman. I think that might be
that's his claim to fame.
his claim to fame. But anyway, I don't know if you remember, but back when he was on the Giants, it looks like 2002, around spring training time, he suffered an injury that he said happened when he was washing his truck. He fell off he said he fell while washing his truck. I guess it was log.
Yeah.
The Giants contended, it seemed, based on people they spoke to or other evidence, that he actually hurt himself riding his motorcycle. This was a mini controversy back then because that was violated in his contract.
Yes.
I don't think anyone ever publicly said what the findings were. I don't know if he ever was fined. It turned out, well, they were ticked because they thought he was going to miss the start of the season. From what I found, it looks like he did not. It looks like he was back by opening day.
Okay.
This kind of was water under the bridge, but kind of a funny story that pretty prominent player either was trying to pull one over, or they did not buy his story of not riding his motorcycle. So, but I didn't know till checking the facts of that it wasn't his only notable off-field injury.
Oh, okay.
You know me, I work at night. You guys know, you might guess I don't watch a lot of primetime TV.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely not a Survivor guy.
Oh no, I wouldn't
I
think
didn't
you
know
were.
Jeff Kent. I didn't know Jeff Kent was on Survivor Philippines in 2012, where he also injured his knee with some kind of incident on a raft, and may have torn his ligament in his knee. But he played hurt. He played hurt, finished the season. I don't know how long he lasted, but we were wondering, this cast also included Lisa Whelchel from The Facts of Life.
Okay, so it was a quasi celebrity cast.
Yeah, it's
what you're
quite a mix. Yeah,
Okay,
so
all right.
there you go. Jeff Kent makes the squad on the bench, and our last bench player is a guy that I barely heard of before reading about him the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Again, catching is not a position of depth here, but our backup catcher will be a young man named Derek Bender.
Great
He
name.
has never played in the majors.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to call him up for our
I think I know the story of this.
He was in single A ball last year with the Twins organization, where he was accused of telling opposing batters what pitches were coming because he wanted the season to be over faster, which is just
what a great excuse.
Sources told ESPN that Bender had told teammates he wanted the season to be over, but he denied this in a interview with The Athletic.
Oh,
website.
okay. All right.
It's in dispute, but you don't hear that every day.
No.
So he's earned the backup catcher job. And then real quick, I'll just go with our manager, who I could have gone the easy route. You know, Pete Rose is already hanging around our clubhouse, a former manager. But we found a better man or worse man for the job in this case. I don't know if you remember a guy named Tim Johnson. Tim Johnson was the manager of the Blue Jays in the late 90s.
Okay.
But not common theme here, not for very long. His first year, they had a winning record in 98. Before his second year in 99, it came to light that he had been lying for years about having served in Vietnam.
Oh,
he would use it in pep talks. So, I mean, to the point where this is kind of the funny part of his downfall. So he's been telling people like this during he was a coach before he was a manager. So
sure.
In baseball circles, he had been talking about, I want to get this quote right. NBC had an article on him saying that for years he'd been telling a story that was fabricated about inadvertently killing children in a firefight in Vietnam.
And that's his pep talk?
I don't know how that inspires you to go take the field. But
that's as good as the ass clown that's the coach of the Bills talking about the 9/11 terrorists, how great communication they have.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So that's how you know this is bad. He couldn't last this one. But so his undoing came when Roger Clemens, speaking of infamy, who was on the Blue Jays, he wanted to get his manager a present. I don't know if it was a birthday or what. So he called the guy's wife and asked what unit he served in, because he wanted to give him a motorcycle with the unit's insignia on it.
Oh, okay.
And the wife was basically, "What are you talking about?
Oh,
He was
no.
never in Vietnam."
Oh, no.
Roger Clemens was the guy who discovered this, of all people.
Oh,
So
well.
he did not make it to the '99 season. Tim Johnson.
He didn't
Mexican
smarten the
League.
He didn't smarten the wife up to the stories that he was
apparently
telling.
not.
That's
I guess he
bad
didn't
luck.
tell those tales at home.
That's a bad luck, brother.
The last I heard, he ended up managing in the Mexican League. Perhaps he got to work with Kenny Powers. I don't know how that.
Flama Blanco.
Is it true that like Clemens was like, I smell bullshit. I know how a bullshit story goes, and I know this guy is totally bullshitting me.
Yeah. Hold my beer.
I never knew the Clemens twist until I was looking up the details of that. But there you go. I know that took a while, and we went through a lot of kinds of infamy there. But there's my team, and like I said, weirdly inspired by driving past the site of Donnie Moore's meltdown. It was on my mind.
Very apropos. Very good. A lot of names in there.
So were you going for like just kind of like infamy, or were you kind of staying away from the dark side of stuff? Because there's a couple of guys on the Yankees that had some kind of dark side, either while they were playing or after they were playing, or stuff that kind of came up during, I guess.
I think it was I went with guys that had made enough of an impression on me to where I thought they were worth mentioning, and I wanted to vary it a little bit, not have it be all scandals. But
No,
who
no,
was on your minds that from Yankees days?
no mention of Orlando Cespedes, who missed time playing for the during the Mets season because he was
Right.
quote unquote attacked by a wild
He
boar.
was, he was chased by a wild boar.
That would be a good one.
That was great.
I was thinking of Mel Hall and
Oh yeah, Mel
and,
Hall's.
and,
yeah,
and Sergio Mitre.
Well, I think someone else on our list, or a couple guys on our list, may have covered Mel Hall territory with inappropriate activity with minors. But
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's he's as infamous as they get.
the only guy that I had noted, Elijah Dukes, who played for a couple of years for Washington Nationals. At one point, he had big arrest records and spousal abuse and getting 17-year-olds pregnant. Some of the greatest hits. But at one point, the Nationals were going to have him back, but they had to assign an ex-police officer to be the role as a special assistant of player concerns to accompany him to make sure that he kept himself out of trouble. So he had his own watchdog, so to speak.
I remember him now. But
If you ever look him up, he's a baseball scumbag for sure.
Come to think of it, man, the Yankees had a lot of them. I mean, wasn't Orlando Chapman didn't he
oldest, yeah,
He didn't
Aroldis
he
Chapman,
like he was like firing shots at his wife or something when he was before the Yankees picked him up, or he was shooting a gun in his house and
something like that. He did fire a shot in
Yeah.
I don't think at anybody, but yeah, that was that happened, as far as I remember.
Jeez, you're
Bad.
trying to make a team out of that stuff. It's going to just
What?
be all Yankees.
Well,
come on.
yeah, I didn't think you needed me to fill out the entire 26-man roster here. So you're right. There are a few guys that fell through the cracks, but
That's okay though.
Yeah, I do.
very, very, very solid and some interesting stories there. So, let's close it out with the captain's lineup here and see what you've concocted.
I hope I do a better job of closing than Donnie Moore.
Oh come
boy.
on, now. Jeez.
Oh,
You
thank
had
you.
to. You had to.
So I kind of went with a list of baseball. I made a lineup of baseball players who had female first names.
Perfect.
It's kind of interesting, throughout the years of, names that might have been back beginning part of the last century that were kind of accepted, and now we would kind of chuckle at them. Our former disgraced president Richard Nixon was very commonly referred to as Dick,
Yeah.
and he actually there was T-shirts that said "You can't lick our dick." And that was their
Great logo.
which was great in the 70s.
Slogan.
But, is not going to pass any type of test nowadays. But
no.
so I kind of made up a lineup of, I don't know, being a little bit immature, like guys that had, maybe they weren't the best players or whatever, but they had what most people would conceive as female first names, or could also be female first names.
Okay.
So I'll follow you guys. I'll start in the infield. Couldn't find a lot of first basemen, but the one that I had is, kind of borderline. But Lee May, probably more famous. I played with the Reds, the Astros, the Orioles, and
Pirate? Was he a pirate? No.
and
Orioles.
the Royals. 267 batting average. He hit 354 home runs, 1,200 RBIs. He played 18 years in the league. Unfortunately, Lee May left us in 2017 at the age of 74. Again, couldn't find a lot of good first basemen, and I didn't want to put somebody there that never really played first base. But
Okay.
Lee can be kind of a girly name.
Good. And so could May, by the way.
Yes. Well, if you put the E at the end, I guess it could be May. He
Yeah.
was like the month of May. So he's my he's my first baseman. We'll move to second base because Lee May's really not that interesting. There's probably a really obvious choice for second base, but I went a different route. I'm going to go with Jacob Nellie Fox.
Oh, okay.
Nellie,
All right.
maybe because I had an Aunt Nellie.
How good was she at
Who-
baseball?
She wasn't very good at baseball. She was very good at baking, and
Okay.
she made chocolate chip cookies, but instead of chocolate chips, she used M&Ms.
Oh, okay.
And she was ahead of her time because
Innovator.
shortly after
Yeah.
her death, then those little thieves, the Keebler elves,
Yeah.
started putting out chocolate chip cookies with M&Ms.
With
and
M&Ms, yeah.
I think they stole it from my Aunt Nellie.
Mm.
Legal, litigation is pending.
Pending litigation. How good was Nellie Fox at baking, though?
Nellie
Do you have
Fox is in
stats?
the Nellie Fox is in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Was inducted in 1997 with the Veterans Committee. He was 1 year. He won in 1959. He won an AL MVP. He won 3 Gold Gloves during his career. He made 15 All-Star appearances. Here's the thing: in 19 years of playing, he struck out 216 times,
Wow.
which comes out to an average of 15 Ks a year.
That's
He's known. I think he's third on the list of hardest men to strike out. Just to put that in perspective, Devers from Boston in the first 3 games, as we're talking, for first 3 games of the season, struck out 12 times.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got to go the rest of the year and only strike out 3 more times, which he'll have probably by Monday or Tuesday. He finished with a two. He finished with a 288 batting average, 700, close to 800 RBIs. Unfortunately, he passed in 1975 at a young age of 47 of skin cancer. But one of those guys that had he didn't get into the Hall of Fame during his first the first round or whatever when he was eligible. Was a Veterans Committee guy, but by all means, I mean, seemed to be a pretty good player. Played for the Philly Athletics, more famously for the Chicago White Sox. And in the last 2 years of his career, he played at Houston, I guess, maybe when they were an expansion team. But hey, Hall of Famer at second base, and he's pretty hard to strike out. So
Good. Good.
I would also point out he could also perhaps be on a mythical lineup of players who sound like they have adopted these names for to be adult performers. Kelly Fox.
No.
Fox with 2 X's, right? Am I correct? Is it one X or two?
I believe it's only 1 X. I
Oh, I
think
thought it
Jimmy.
was-
I
Jimmy
think
Fox
Jimmy,
was 2 X's.
Jimmy Fox
Okay.
had 2 X's.
That's very suspect. Anybody with 2 X's. I
Nikki
think,
Nikki Fox had 3 X's.
I was gonna say, like,
I'm
nobody-
not going to go into why.
Nobody in Major League Baseball has got the guts to throw the 3rd X in there. So,
So
I stand corrected.
I'm going to go proper. I'm going to go from second to third base.
oh, okay. Fancy.
A guy that
Nicky
we
Fox also was good at going from second to third base. I heard.
allegedly. The guy that the 3 of us would remember, kind of played during our heyday of probably beginning to watch baseball or following it. Former Toronto Blue Jay great Kelly Gruber,
oh, Kelly
yes.
Gruber. Yes. Yes.
2-time All-Star, won a Gold Glove, was a Silver Slugger Award 1 year with the Blue Jays. I think in '90 when they were like really good and they moved into the Sky Dome and everybody on that team was just like hitting,
yeah. Yeah.
It was
A
one of
hitter's
those
ballpark.
like, yeah. Especially, I think it was when the roof was closed. They would have like 10 to 8 games and stuff. But played most of his career. He played 10 years in the league. Played 8 of them with the Blue Jays. 1 year with the California Angels, wrapping up his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, his first name's Kelly, so he gets to play third base.
Okay. All right.
Moving over to shortstop. Again, couldn't really find a lot, but this guy, if you opened up a pack of Topps baseball cards, probably in 86, 87, or 88, you're guaranteed to get this guy in your pack, and that is Jody Reed.
Yeah, I think I got him twice in one pack. Once,
Rated
actually.
rated rookie in the Donruss. Set.
Yes. Played 11 years in the league.
That's too much.
Mainly with the Red Sox, but he had a stop with the Dodgers, the Brewers, Padres, and he finished off his dubious career in Detroit.
Ooh, I missed that.
That must have been a bad Detroit team in the 90s.
I'm sure that they moved him out of the way, or they moved Tom Brookins probably out of the way to make him on the roster. Nothing really. I mean, he was a 270 lifetime batting average. He was like second base shortstop type of guy. But if you're trying to get the full collection, the full thing of like the 87 tops, you probably had 24 extras of him.
I like how you said that if you were opening up cards in 86, 87, or 88, you would get a Jody Reed. What if you were opening Topps cards in 2020 because it was a pandemic, and you were running across a lot of Jody Reeds at that point? Shout out to leader of the pack, by the way.
Yes. I didn't know if that was like an open wound. I didn't want to like.
Oh no.
I didn't want to poke the bear.
That's fine. It's fine.
So that's my infield. I'll go to catcher. Had a couple options here, more than I believe. When we were closing out the episode last week, you said something about catcher. There wasn't going to be a lot of. There actually was quite a few guys with girly sounding names at
Lady
catcher.
names.
I'm going to go with Terry Steinbach, who was
Okay.
a member of those the Bash Brothers those years. Was a solid catcher. He played.
He made a
most
few
of his-
All-Stars, right?
Yeah, back when the Oakland A's had fans and they would stuff the ballots.
Okay. Right. It's not that they weren't good or anything, but
Yeah, but
Okay.
played majority of his year in Oakland, his career in Oakland. The last 3 years was with the Twins. He's not going to Hall of Fame or anything, but he was, during that time, the Bash Brothers were must-see TV, and Oakland was on. They made the playoffs. They won the World Series in '89. He was I think like him and Ron Hasse used to catch for
that's right.
for those team.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was the primary catcher, and like you said, he made he was like their all-star representative at the catcher position.
Okay.
Going out to left field.
Left field.
um,
Okay.
I'm gonna try. I implore the listeners. I had like a D average in 2 years of Spanish at Mater Dei.
okay.
Santomino, Orestes, Armas, Arieta, Minosa, better known as Mini Minosa.
Minnie Minosa. Okay. I really made a meal out of that, but Minnie Minosa is a good one.
I need to
Famously
take a
named
break.
after the mouse, right? Am I correct?
I'm thinking just because his last name is Minosa, probably just Mini. That's how the Yankee. I mean,
Alliterative?
everybody is their last name is shortened, or they add an E to
That's true.
That's how everybody's nickname is. So, it's Mini. Also known as the Cuban Comet.
Oh, okay.
Played his first 3 years in the Negro Leagues. Then joined. He played with the New York City team for the Negro Leagues. Best known mainly for being with the White Sox.
Yes.
Also played with the Indians, the Washington Senators, and the St. Louis Cardinals. 7-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove. Finished with a .299 lifetime batting average. Couldn't get like just one more hit and then finished at 300. The best thing I guess that he's known for is that later in his life he kept on playing these games with like the St. Louis Spirits or teams like these independent minor league teams, and he's the only baseball player to play in 7 decades.
That's impressive, and with a lady's name all this time
Yeah.
too.
And with that long name, imagine his birth certificate was probably pretty heavy.
Yeah, it had
with
all
those
names. It had all the letters in it.
So, unfortunately, Minnie left us in 2015 at the age of 86.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, he was scratched from the lineup that night.
Okay, right.
He was probably trying to make eight decades. No, I joke about that, but I mean that was. I don't, obviously I was not alive during his playing days, but I do remember him. I think he was a coach with the White Sox and then tried to one game or something. I think he actually instead of wearing his coaching number, he had his old playing number on, and he went up there and drew a walk or something. And the White Sox were never really that good, except for
Yeah.
So they let him go out and put him on a roster in like a late season game or something, and that was like he played in 6 decades, and then he played a game with the St. Louis Spirit, which are a pretty famous independent team.
Yeah.
And he got his at bat to qualify to play in 7 decades.
I bet if he was still alive, he would have been like a celebrity player with like the Savannah Bananas or something.
I'm sure.
They would throw him in there for
Yeah.
Well, there was a while there everybody ended up with the Long Island Ducks.
the Long
So I
Island
think-
Ducks. That's
Yeah.
another good one.
I think John Rocker ended up there. Maybe others on my list. I don't
Hope he
know.
didn't have to take the subway.
Everybody
Yeah.
for a
He-
few
oh,
years
he was-
there, everybody ended up in Long Island.
He was definitely taking the Long Island train. He wasn't taking the subway out there.
No,
with that.
no. Very good. All right. Minnie Minosa.
So going to center field. Now this guy,
Mhm.
I could have put him at shortstop. I could have put him at center field. I chose center field.
Okay.
Hall of Famer, inducted in 1999. Brewer great Robin Yount.
Ah,
Okay. There you go. That's
Started his career at shortstop and then later moved out to center field. He played 20 years, all with the Brewers. 3,100 hits, a 285 lifetime batting average, over 1,400 RBIs, and was the AL MVP in 1989. Just kind of remember him and Paul Molitor were like I hated watching the games when the Yankees had to go to Milwaukee back when the Brewers were in the AL. That the two of them always gave Yankee pitchers. It was a nightmare going for a 3-game series.
yeah.
In Milwaukee, it was like they weren't really. This was after like the late 80s. They were like a mediocre ball club, but still had some of the guys left over from their more famous runs in the early 80s. But Robin Yount and Molitor would always destroy Yankee pitching.
can see
So
that.
I have him as my center fielder.
Also, I just want to point out beautiful curly hair.
Oh,
And,
I would say the only person that had better hair than him was his Milwaukee teammate Charlie O'Brien.
Charlie O'Brien had
Oh.
a nice curly mullet, and so as beautiful as his curly hair was, he also had a garbage mustache. Robin Yount. No offense, I mean he's a Hall of Famer, but it's not a Hall of Fame mustache.
He kind of had a cop mustache.
That's true. Yeah. All right, but
So-
definitely a woman's name. That's for sure.
Going over to the right field position, somebody who was a local, he was played for one of the locals and not during a very good time for the Yankees, but started his career with the Toronto Blue Jays. Owner of maybe the best arm besides Bo Jackson I've ever seen live, and that's Jesse Barfield.
Yeah, I mentioned
Unfortunately,
him in
had a really
conversation
strong
yesterday.
arm. Had a really strong arm. Just sometimes didn't know exactly where it was going. Sometimes he would nail a guy at third base. Sometimes he would completely overthrow it and hit like somebody in the head who was 12 or 13 rows behind third base. So sometimes just did not realize how good of a not really accurate arm sometimes, but
A cannon.
Yeah,
but,
a cannon.
yeah, a little wild on his artillery.
he was a 2-time Gold Glove winner, won a Silver Slugger award, and he led the league AL in '86. He hit 40 home runs. Him and Jorge Bell,
Yeah.
also later known as George Bell.
Right.
During that little, like I would say 84 to 86, 87, they
Mhm.
were pretty good. I believe they hit back to back in that Toronto lineup. They gave back. I mean, they're another team, kind of like the Mets and stuff, like in the '80s. That if they played in today's, those Toronto Blue Jay teams would have got in as a wild card,
Yeah, they would've.
or
Yeah.
they had some good teams, but unfortunately, I think a couple of times they lost to the Tigers, like on the last week and stuff. But
He was a teammate of Kelly Gruber as well.
yes, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 years in Toronto, 4 with the Yankees. Again, played with the Yankees during just maybe one of their worst periods in their history. But unfortunately, I got to live and go to a lot of those games in that period. So
I'm gonna think that his real full first name is Jessica Barfield. Just for this,
yes.
just for this exercise.
name for an uncle on his mom's side.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, I
Was
had
he-
that totally.
Matt.
totally
The
made
uncle,
that
was he the original Uncle Jesse? Or,
up.
Could have been. It could have been an Uncle Jesse.
Uh,
Very good.
he did refer to his arm as the Ripper. So
Yeah, that'd be great.
it just occurred to me. Before that Uncle Jesse, there was the Dukes of Hazzard. had a son,
Yeah,
Uncle
they had an
Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
I mean,
Why does Stamos have such a
he doesn't
bad
own
taste
that.
in his mouth? But yeah, exactly. You're not the only Uncle Jesse.
I never put that together. That whoever came up with Full House, look, they acted like there was not already an Uncle Jesse.
He's just mad that nobody's like,
Established.
"Oh, you're the drummer from the Beach Boys."
have you ever seen Jesse? Uncle Jesse from Full House's hair.
Yeah,
Come on, Stamos has gorgeous hair. That's why he's Uncle
had
Jesse.
gorgeous hair.
But there's been a lot of hair discussion tonight,
Yeah,
more
this-
than I was. I didn't come with any notes on hair, so I'm sorry. You guys got to let me know next time we're going to go there.
This is the podcast that brings you the most hair observations.
Going on to DH. It's kind of some slim pickings.
Okay.
But I went with a gentleman, David, quote, Shelley Duncan.
Yeah,
Was a Yankee for a little bit. Played with the Indians. He was a DH, outfield, and first baseman.
wasn't
Really
he a
never-
hitting coach too
He might have
after
been.
his
I
playing
don't know.
days.
All I know is he graduated from the University of Arizona, so I'm sure he's got a lot of like. And that girl got drunk, and that was the best party I've ever been to.
Yeah,
Stories,
yeah.
because that's all that University of Arizona is good for is bowing out in the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament and partying.
This is also Shelley Duncan's also the guy who looked like the actor Matthew Lillard, right? Wasn't that the comparison? that was made
Yeah,
at the time?
yeah, similar.
The guy I haven't
Was-
thought about in a while. Until you mentioned
Good
Duncan.
call.
Right back to me.
He wasn't as intense as Matthew Lillard though.
He was. Well, come on, he was Shaggy. I mean, you go get more intense than that. I mean,
He was
Oh, I
also
was
in,
thinking
he was
it-
also in that baseball movie, right? Like the
oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
a baseball connection.
yeah,
Right.
I was thinking of Scream.
just that. That's true as well.
And at pitcher, Hall of Famer, if you listen to people who was like my dad's age and stuff, was probably considered one of the best pitchers with dominant stuff. And unfortunately, had kind of a shortened career because of his arm problem, but inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1972, Mr. Sandy Koufax.
Andy Koufax, yes.
Finished with a 165.87 record, ERA of 2.76, and over 2,300 Ks. But again, his career was kind of shortened because he kind of blew his arm out. But I always say I'd rather be Sandy Koufax than Don Sutton. So that's just me.
Well, and Sandy Koufax qualifies for this list.
Yes, Don Sutton would not.
Don Sutton would not. Although,
Oh.
again, another good, nice head of curly hair on Don Sutton.
But if I can also tie it back to something earlier in the show with Don Sutton, again, not that you need another reason to look at the Steve Garvey and people who didn't like him.
Yeah.
Don Sutton, I think, brawled with Steve Garvey once because if you had to put up with Steve Garvey, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. I'm taking a swing.
That happened at Shea Stadium back in
Oh.
the late '70s heyday of the Dodgers run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Don Sutton, man of the people,
Is it
put
is it
Steve
true?
Garvey in his place.
Sparring partner of Steve
And,
Garvey.
and hopefully his curly locks were untouched.
Intact.
In that brawl.
Is it true that they started fighting and nobody went in to break it up? They all just sat there and just was like, "Go ahead." The two of you just beat the shit out of each other.
Could be. Could be.
I,
No,
don't know, I
to
was
see
never a
that.
big Don Sutton fan. I didn't.
No.
I wasn't. I didn't like him on Atlanta Braves
Well,
podcast, but
I knew you were going to go there. But in fairness, those 1980s, late 80s Atlanta Braves broadcasts on TBS were like That you just put that on if you were looking to take a nap.
Yeah.
They were terrible. There was nobody in the stands, and you had like
Well,
Skip Carey
what,
just like talking like this. You know,
well, that was
Oh.
that was my favorite. Was when they would actually legitimately on like they would the first inning they would say, "There's plenty of seats available if anybody." It was like if you're in the area and want to come watch a game, you could pretty much sit on the pitcher's mound if
Yeah,
you like.
come on down. Sandy Koufax.
I might have went a little overboard. I made a manager and a GM for this team.
Okay, all right. Good. Somebody's got to run it.
My GM is Eugene Richard Michael, better known as Gene Michael or Stick Michael.
Oh, Stick. Yes.
Was a ball player. He played in his day. Was one of those Steinbrenner guys that like he was a manager for a year or two, would get fired, then they bring him back, and then he would be like the hitting instructor, would get fired, then came back as a GM, and then more famously in the late 90s when Steinbrenner got kicked out of baseball, he was appointed by the commissioner to basically run the team.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Stick Michael, you don't have the late 90s, early 2000 Yankee dynasty, because
It's true.
he was the one that developed the farm system. He drafted the guys. He was the one that when Steinbrenner did come back, basically told him like, no, you don't trade Bernie Williams. You don't trade this guy.
Yeah.
He kept the younger guys and built a core, and they went on to win a bunch of World Series. My manager is Cornelius McGillicuddy, more famously known as Connie Mack.
Connie Mack. Oh, Connie Mack.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
beautiful.
Holds the records for most wins with 37-31. Also owns the record for most losses at 39-48.
Yeah.
But is a manager, a 5-time World Series manager. So
Did he didn't wear a uniform, correct?
he wore a suit.
Yeah.
Every picture of him is wearing a suit in a dugout.
Yeah.
So
Let's bring that back.
I
by the
respect.
way.
I respect. I always thought it was really dumb that managers and coaches had to wear a uniform.
They got to waste a number on those guys?
Yeah. Just put a pair. Just put Adidas sweatpants on or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. You don't. My honorable mentions. I tried to keep. I didn't want to fill up a lineup with guys with all similar names, so I kind of pick and choose. But obviously, Sandy Alomar, Sr. or Jr. could have been on the team.
The original Hawk Tua.
Yeah. No, that was Roberto Alomar.
Oh, Bobby Alomar. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm besmirching the fan.
Don't put that. Don't
Was
put that on
no,
this.
Was that a reference to Hawk to a girl or the iron noise he would make when he would spit in the ring during the national anthems?
Yeah.
I'm
I don't think
I'm-
I don't think Robbie Alomar went to Cleveland Indians number one.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Like, apologies to the Alomar family.
You should apologize to the Hawk 2 girl. Too.
Nah, she's fine.
Reason why the Mets went on their run. Her and Grimace.
Her and Grimace, right? Yeah.
Former Met great. Former everybody great, because I think he played with 17 teams. Jesse Orosco.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Always known as getting the last, getting the strikeout World Series.
Threw his glove into outer
Rubber arm.
space, and it never came
Guy had a
down.
rubber arm, man.
Yeah.
Where he went.
Also, another guy who played for both the Mets and the Yankees, but had a really good moment with the Mets, the walk-off grand slam single, Robin Ventura.
Okay.
Also more famously known as the guy that got the shit kicked out of him
Yeah.
by Nolan Ryan by charging the mound.
Took a couple knuckles to the forehead that day.
There was when I pulled up a list, there was somebody who played, and his name was Sherry Maguire.
Okay.
But
All right.
I
I'll
loved his
just
memo.
mention. I'll just
Oh, sorry.
former San Francisco and San Diego Padre great, and someone that we remember. Also, probably was a guy, if you opened up a pack of 87 tops, you probably got this guy, Candy Maldonado.
Ooh,
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Is,
This
Tra-
guy,
is Tracy Jones on your list?
I did not put Tracy Jones on my
Oh.
list. I got three more.
Okay.
This guy started pitching in 1850 and just retired last year.
Okay.
Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um,
He can
He
still
is-
whiz
he
that ball
should-
down at 82
he
miles
sh-
per hour today.
he should be the major league logo. Should
Yeah.
just be his silhouette.
Yeah.
Former, when we talk about those really bad Atlanta Brave teams, it's kind of hard to not mention Jody Davis. I had Jody Davis. I had Jody Reed. I needed a middle infielder. I went with Jody. Jody Davis went to the bench.
Okay. All right.
And
Fair play.
I had mentioned maybe a little bit controversy at second base because I went with Nellie Fox. And I know somebody's going to be like, how could you not put Jackie Robinson? It's you know what?
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson gets enough praise. He has a day when everybody wears his number. He's got movies. He's got books.
He doesn't need to be part of this
He,
podcast.
he
is what you're
doesn't
saying?
need he doesn't need to be in my starting lineup.
Okay. All right.
He'll move. He's got a rotund. If you really want to know about Jackie Robinson, just go to Citi Field. There's a whole rotundo.
Yeah.
For a guy that never played for the organization, you can
Okay.
find out everything you want to know about Jackie Robinson. So that's my list.
That
Yeah,
ended-
Tracy
that ended
Jones.
on that ended on an unexpectedly salty note there.
Yeah, it
about
feels
Jackie
like
Robinson.
you're kind of the Jackie Robinson fans might turn on our podcast and be a little bit disappointed, but I understand your gripe. I understand there's other players that are more deserving. So
Hey, somebody had to bring the salt. I did it.
That's-
I'm the Mr. Fuji of this.
okay,
Throwing some salt in the eyes as we go on.
that's wonderful. 3 good lineups, 3 very interesting topics, and players to explore. I'm sure if anybody has been listening, and if you stuck with us through all 3 lineups, you have a lot of baseball research to do. Baseball Reference is calling your name right now, waiting for you to look up some of these, especially the older players that have interesting track records off the field, and also that have interesting either body shapes or names that you can look up and look at pictures and look at stats of them and read articles on the Associated Press about them. So, well done, fellas. I really thought it was an excellent trip around the bases for all 3. And George, thank you for being our first official guest.
Wow.
Wonderful job.
This, we had a couple almost appearances on some of your other podcast empire networks, but good to finally be with you. Thanks.
It's again, pleasure's all on this end to have you as part of our universe now. So we will-
Normally I would give you the 75th minute clap, but I'm giving you the 122nd minute clap here.
Yeah, this definitely went to extra time.
But Captain, any ideas about a topic for next week for us?
Maybe we should go with Lego hair or people who look like Legos.
People
like
that have Legos. Okay.
Sam Darnold. You could have Steve Garvey. I don't know. We haven't really discussed what a topic for next week.
Okay.
I know we had mentioned something about I think you wanted an episode where you took a shit on country music.
Yep.
I mean, we could
Always, I'm always up for that.
Especially if you want to get on your private jet and go to God's country.
Oh yes, I do. I'm looking forward to it. We'll announce that during the week. Let's give us a time to revel in the
We got
the
to
excitement
towel
of baseball
off after
season.
this.
That's right. Grab a towel. So, so for our guest George Henn, for the captain on that side, Mike Madden on this side. We hope you guys have a tremendous night, and we will hear from you soon.
Sammy, so